swimming the forbidden zone. They were captured by the shrewdness of apes. But what the hell is the shrewdness of apes? And why is Taylor wearing a man frock and saying city looks like Fraggle Rock? Did the Chambers, did the Innsmouth, Mr. Spock? These are just the facts we try not to mock on. The minute of the apes. 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 Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. I'm your host, Todd. Across the table from me, I've got Richard and Sean. Say hello, fellas.
Hello, fellas.
Hello.
I somehow knew when I said say hello, fellas, that Sean was going to go for that. So it's the Tuesday edition. This is minute 51 through 52, and it begins with Cornelius saying, I don't, and I'm not going to try, and ends with Zira proclaiming a missing link. Fellas, as we sit here at Zeus, breaking this down with tons of pop culture around us,
And plenty of beer.
is there any point in this movie where it's going to get exciting and we aren't just talking about missing links, paper airplanes, and maps?
And walking. And walking. And walking.
So, and Rich, I know you only joined officially the team 2 weeks ago,
correct.
but you've seen the movie all the way through.
Yes.
You would have to agree that this movie has at least gone incredibly slow at the first,
Right.
where we had a lot of weirdness.
Uh-huh.
Then it has a lot of escalation, and we're back to the slowness again.
Yeah, we had... Our action has been a crash, a hunt, and a prison fight.
Well, you also have the natives stealing all their stuff and throwing it on the ground for whatever reason. So that was at least exciting.
That was the titillating part. When they
It
were
was
all
titillating
naked.
as they
Yeah.
ran naked through the bushes, the creatively placed bushes.
Yes. All right, hang on real quick. We got 2 living humans, 2 dead humans, a shrewdness of ape, and a gaggle of humanoids. All
A
right.
gaggle. So Cornelius has a theory that ape evolved from man.
What I like about this minute
Mm-hmm.
is we find out why Cornelius is such a skeptic, if you will.
Okay.
This is where we find out why Cornelius has been so reticent to want to go along with Zira and Zira's Project Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start at the top, right? So we left off with Zira saying that with Taylor's note, how do you account for
Right.
me? And Cornelius says, I don't, and I'm not going to try.
Mm-hmm.
So he's rejecting, whatever we're doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Right.
It's of no consequence to me, right? And then Zira puts it out there. But what about your theory?
Yeah.
What's this theory?
I know.
Ooh, what's the theory? Your theory, Cornelius, not mine. Your that the existence of someone Taylor might prove it. And Cornelius says, Zira, are you trying to get my head chopped off?
Yeah.
I have that note. I mean, is that a literal thing? Are they actually executing people for
They
going
might.
against
If you
their
begin-
belief system?
If they have an area within the map that's a forbidden zone, might they kill the people that spoke out against it?
Yeah, because
Uh-huh.
that's it'd be one thing to say, you're trying to get my head ripped off, or trying to
Right, but
get
chopped
me
off.
chew me a new one or something. But to
Right.
say get my head chopped off,
Zira says, don't be foolish. If it's true, they'll have to accept it. No, they won't. Why is he so convinced that they won't accept his theory? It's his theory, but he's shunning everything that Zira's putting in front of him related to Taylor, right?
Yeah, but once again, that kind of proves a problem for me in a character development standpoint, because why is he even trying to prove it if he knows they'll never accept it? Why is he even going down this path? He knows that he can get his head chopped off. He doesn't show anything as a character at that point to say, okay, they might cut my head off.
but this is important.
This is important, and he doesn't have those moments where he's at least acknowledging what he hopes will come of it. What is Cornelius hoping to prove? Obviously, that man may be the missing link to apes is kind of
Right. I mean, Zira says that in the next number, right? Like the ape evolved from a lower form of order primate, possibly man.
Yeah.
At which
Right?
point, it's
So-
also interesting because if you notice, Taylor even grabs his throat almost like he's trying to interject and going, whoa, hey,
Yeah,
time out.
I know.
Let's
There are
flip it around. Flip it around.
In
But-
his trip to the Forbidden Zone, he discovered traces of a culture older than recorded time, right? So backing up the fact that Cornelius has now been to the Forbidden Zone, confirming that he said he's been there, right? And Cornelius says that was before before Dr. Zaius, and half the academy said the idea was hearsay. So after...
Was it hearsay or heresy?
Heresy.
Heresy. Sorry, heresy. Not hearsay. Heresy.
I like hearsay, too.
Heresy. Yeah.
I heard somebody say that apes were this.
So he had a theory.
Uh-huh.
He went to the Forbidden Zone.
Uh-huh.
He found evidence of stuff, of
right.
things recorded time. Then Dr. Zaius and the academy shut him down for heresy. And he referenced earlier that his head was going to get chopped off. The only reason Cornelius is not following, no matter how fascinated he may be about Taylor, not following it, is because he realizes the ramifications of death. I mean, he realizes what's going to happen to him is not just the shutdown of his... Maybe he wants to continue. He's got a dig coming up. He may still want to go out there. But he realizes Taylor is potentially going to shut everything that he's got going down and get him possibly killed.
Shouldn't he have moments where he is
afraid,
internally
excited about this?
Excited, torn up, all of the things. We're almost... And Roddy McDowall, again, is such a fantastic actor. If that's told to him, when you hear this, it's got to be those... You shuffle, you do something to where you're thinking it through like, yes, I want to believe it, but no.
So you want to... You think the prosthetics from the way? You think we would have seen more emotion?
I don't think you see it at all.
No, I don't think you do. I don't get any sense of Cornelius being interested or eager outside of maybe that moment when he looks at the airplane, right? That's the first moment where I feel like he's actually paying attention to what's going on.
Now, perhaps what we don't know, because he's afraid of his head being chopped off, is maybe he has been punished in private, and he's even afraid to tell Zero. There could be that somehow he found something. He brought something to their attention. They were like, here's the guillotine next time you talk. And now he's almost, no, and he... Because I would think that I don't care what prosthetics, I don't care what you have going on, there could be a moment of contemplation where he hears this thought. And just like you're saying with the airplane, where he almost studied it like, oh my God, what is this? He could for a minute, put his hand to his muzzle, whatever that would be on a monkey, and he could think. But he doesn't. He just shuts it down. So what's happened to Cornelius leading up to this moment?
Exactly. And I don't even see, a direction here in the script that would give you the sense that they edited out a moment.
Right.
Of Cornelius thinking seriously about what all this could mean.
Right.
He's just ready to shut it all down. But he still brought Taylor and Zero back to his office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's hiding them. I don't know if he's trying to keep them hidden. He is letting Taylor go down this path of what he considers fantasy.
Right.
Even though it might confirm his theory when he's got an upcoming research, and he already says that, despite his theory, despite the stuff that he's already done, Dr. Zaius and the academy said the idea was heresy, and so he's already been threatened. He's already been
that has to be it. He has to have been threatened, and maybe it's even with harming Zero. Maybe that's why he's like, stop it. And especially in this era, a man would probably be a little more abrasive with a woman and say, you're not going to speak.
And I thought it was an interesting twist where you have a scientific council calling something heresy rather than a religious council calling something heresy.
That's true.
I liked the next moment where Zero kind of explains it. How can scientific truth be heresy? And I find that a universal question even in modern era.
It's funny you say that because I even had this question about today. And it's the great thing when science fiction can throw out a question that will never be answered. It will never be rectified. It will never come to any terms where we have 100% agreement. But how scary of a thought is this that they're throwing this out in the 60s? There are scary ideas, and I wish I remembered the exact quote. And if you want to read the first scene, you can when I say this. But there's a quote, there's a comment at the very first when it could be a condemnation, if you wanted, about the creation of religion, about how these kind of ideas are here and put out to the world. I don't want to put down anyone's religious beliefs, but you have to agree that even if you look at, because I was raised Christian, I at least know this occurred in a very small area of the world, and then it blossomed out. There are hints in here that they're actually kind of thumbing a finger at that very concept where these things came out and now people try to suppress and control.
I forgot to mention this in the last minute talking about the map. There was something to a sense very biblical about what the known world was at the time. This idea of the Fertile Crescent, and this is the area that everything springs from and life comes from. So not seeing ape culture outside of what this map was to me had kind of a biblical reference point.
I don't disagree, and in these minutes I started to see a ton of that, and I'm shocked, as I've said before, when we talk about the different themes that are in here. Even when you get down to the African American astronaut, that's a very brave choice for a film that's in the late '60s to put a African American man in a position of prominence.
Dodge.
That was a brave choice. I'm sorry?
Dodge.
Yes, Dodge. That's a brave choice. It's a brave choice to be talking about things like this that anyone at that time could get freaked out about religion. So,
right. But that's one of the passes that we give sci-fi. Science fiction has the ability to kind of ask those questions and put them out there, even if culture and society are not there yet. It's one of the great testing grounds of ideas and thought in fiction. Is science fiction can actually explore these avenues of development that society may not be at.
We can ask the question because it's not our laws, it's not our systems that we're questioning. However, it is exactly that. It's thinly masked.
Yeah.
But so. For the first time in this entire time that we've been doing this, I'm going to give a big thumbs up to the writing in this scene, even though we miss out on some things on character beats. Those are some really good questions that they're posing to an audience in the 60s.
Right.
And I thought it was kind of interesting, or weird maybe, how Zira is kind of going back and forth on what she believes. That she, I think, believes that Taylor came from the sky because he's showing an airplane and giving them all these different facts. But then she's also calling him a missing link. So does the missing link come from outer space? Is he their version of Bigfoot? I don't know.
Tom Cruise believes that space aliens brought the religion here through Scientology. So.
Well, Zira's an animal psychologist.
Yes.
Zira's an animal psychologist.
Yes.
So she's going to kind of go down any path that Taylor leads her just because she wants to explore all the possibilities. She may or may not think that he's crazy based upon whether he came from the planets or not. But she
he's
does
still
know
writing. Come on. This is the most amazing thing that they should have ever seen.
It is the most amazing thing they've ever seen, but they're not.
Once again, it's our dogs talking to us, and they're not just
and then
floored.
5 minutes into it, they're already bored with it.
Dismissive.
No, you're hearing your dog go, "No, I came from outer space." You're like,
okay, let's be honest. The dog would be going, "Can I have some more food?" And at that point, you would be
Let me
dismissive.
smell your butt.
Yeah.
So now we've established Cornelius why he wants to shut this down. I mean, this really is the first minute where we get a sense that Cornelius this is why he doesn't want to explore this idea. And Zira poses the question, which is why she is probably continuing to motivate or inspired by Taylor. How can scientific truth be heresy? And she asks, Cornelius, what if Taylor's the proof you need? What if this mutation is the link between the primate and the ape? I love that they call humans primates.
Yeah.
Primates versus the ape.
It is a very heavy-handed, obvious statement. It's a very, I'm sure that people even chuckled. And while reading some of the stuff on the Planet of the Apes wiki page, I found that it was in the second draft that Rod Serling turned in that they began to at least understand that some humor was needed. But it was in the last draft, and I don't have the guy's name in front of me. I'll look it up here. But the guy that wrote Bridge on the River Kwai, he was the dialogue, interjects some, and he brought the humor in. So I do wonder if that was a little bit of ha-ha, because it is a little bit heavy-handed. I'm sure everybody in the audience went, oh.
Then Taylor bangs his fist on the desk and mouths the word no, scribbles on a piece of paper. Cornelius, he's touchy, isn't he? And then he throws the paper at Zira. I am not the missing link. And this goes back to Taylor just kind of being an asshole.
Dickhole.
Yeah, just kind of being a jerk. No, I'm not the missing link. Humorous would have been you are.
Yeah.
That would have been the actual the kicker right there. I'm not the missing link. You are. I'm in some back-asswards world where monkeys now dominate, and I'm having to try and communicate, and you guys just debating whether I can do what I can do, and I flew here, and
Yeah, I try to live by the theory that I reserve the right to change my opinions as soon as I'm presented with new facts. But Cornelius, for being an archaeologist, has just kind of dug into his worldview.
He is, for whatever reason. He is very steadfast in that.
Have you found who you're looking for?
No, because the internet doesn't want to play friendly with me.
Oh, boo,
Michael
internet.
Wilson. Michael.
Yeah, I think it was Michael Wilson. Well, we won't waste the space while we all surf on the web here, but...
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I have nothing